Fox Sports Update.
It's knocked away and it's over. UConn still has the March Magic. The Huskies are once again going to the Final Four.
And that will do it. UConn is headed to an unprecedented 25th Final Four.
Banner win Sunday for the University of Connecticut women's and men's basketball teams. NCAA March Madness on ESPN for the women's tournament and CBS on the men's side, where UConn trailed Duke by 19 points in the first half of the East Region Final in Washington, D.C. The Huskies came all the way back and won the game just before the final buzzer.
Stolen by Mullins. Caravan, 2 seconds. Mullins tosses it up. Ah! It's good. We're point three. UConn goes in front.
NCAA March Madness on CBS. UConn freshman Braylon Mullins threw up a 35-foot shot that swished through the net to give UConn a 73-72 improbable comeback win over Duke, which was the number one overall seed of the tournament. UConn moves into the Final Four versus Illinois. The Midwest Region Final, not so close Sunday. Michigan moved back to the Final Four for the first time since 2018 with a 95-62 trampling of Tennessee. The Wolverines will face the number one seed of the West Region, Arizona, in Saturday's national semifinals in Indianapolis. Women's NCAA's UCLA came back from 39-31 down at halftime against Duke and beat the Blue Devils 70-58 to move into the Final Four against the winner of tonight's game between Texas and Michigan. The Wolverines have a chance to be in the Final Four, like UConn, in both the women's and men's tournaments. UConn scored an 18-point win over Notre Dame Sunday, 70-52. Reigning national champion Huskies will play in the national semifinals Friday against the winner of tonight's contest between South Carolina and TCU. You can download the Fox Sports Podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you download your favorite podcasts. I'm Jared Max.
Get more on the Fox Sports app and foxsports.com.
So just to bring you up to date, weekend sports, the Phillies did lose. They beat the Rangers in game one, the opening game of the series, which was on Thursday, opening day. But then they lost by 1 run. They actually tied it up in the bottom of the ninth, but they couldn't hold on. And the Rangers beat the Phillies Saturday night, and then they beat them yesterday 8-3. Painful. And then the Orioles, they won on opening day, shut out the Nationals. Mm-hmm. And, I'm sorry. It was the Twins. There we go. Wrong thing there. Wait a second. Is it the Twins?
I'm pretty certain.
Yes, it was the Twins. And they beat them on opening day 2-1. Then they lost to the Twins 4-1 on Saturday. And yesterday they won. 8-6. So good luck to Baltimore.
Yep.
Now, I noticed the last golf tournament before the Masters this coming weekend, or 2 weekends, right? It's not this coming weekend's Easter. They're not going to have a golf tournament, right?
I think there's the Valero Texas Open going on.
You think?
Weekend. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so over the weekend, it was the Houston Open, and a guy you don't hear, he's usually, I guess, 20 to 30 to 40, somewhere down there. But he won, Gary Woodland. Didn't he hurt himself a few years ago and battled back to get into playing? And so he won. And speaking...
Well, I think Gary Woodland, he had was it a brain tumor or?
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
I knew it was a medical thing.
And he won the U.S. Open, I think, in 2019, and to battle back and to make his, have a victory on the PGA Tour while, apparently battling post-traumatic stress disorder from his surgery. Yeah. Universally liked on the tour. And I just think it's a wonderful story that is under the radar this weekend.
So let's talk a little bit about your golf experience. We know that you and Gary have played many times.
We have.
And I will tell you that this is the one story that he told me about you.
Uh-oh.
And I don't remember. It might have been at Regents Glen.
Okay.
All right. I'm not 100% sure where it was, but the way he described the hole was that from the tee, you could not see the green. And he described how he would play the hole. He said James came up, and he attacked this hole, and he hit this drive, cutting a corner. And he said, the green was not particularly large, and he said by the time we got over there to see where his drive went, you had cut the corner, and it stuck on the green. He said he never saw a shot like that before.
Well, I don't know about that one. God, come on, that must have hit a sprinkler head.
But do you remember the shot you're talking about?
That absolutely was last year.
So what was it? Was it at Regents?
It was at Regents. It was hole number 15.
I think I know that hole.
Yeah.
Yes, and you cannot see the green. So, but you must have played it before, so you kind of knew certain things about it, right?
We were a little downwind, and I caught it just right, and I got up there and I said, well, I don't see it, and then we went to the back side of the green. I'm like, hey, that's my golf ball.
Oh my!
Yeah.
So have you done that before? I mean, just in general, hit obviously not a par 3, but I mean that was a par 4, right?
Par 4, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you don't see that every day.
No, it was a nice day, and Gary and I went back and forth, and I'll tell you what, if I can play golf like Gary at his age, I'll be a blessed individual.
He is, and he. What's interesting about that, and this will be the last comment, is that, Gary has played golf his entire life up until recently without really thinking about how he swings, which is the opposite of most other golfers like myself. It's always a constant battle with, am I doing this right? Am I moving my shoulder left? And my hip is turning and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He didn't think about that. And you probably don't either. You just step up and you do it, and you're able to do it and somewhat consistently. But, age does catch up to us. And, Gary had started to notice some things, and he got a new set of clubs with a little bit whippier shafts, and had to change his swing a little bit, and worked out to make those changes stick. And apparently he's done a pretty good job of that, focusing in on trying to make the best of what he has, but a little bit different for him because he didn't have to do that before. So
yeah,
kind of interesting. Coming up, we're going to talk more about sports, specifically the Revs, if I can believe this script here. And we will do that. I don't know if he's got anything to say about high school basketball. The end of his coverage, Daryl Henry's coverage, ended a week ago. But let's find out more about that after news. It is the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK with our guest host James Sanders.
Yes, sir.
Happy birthday, Eric Clapton. How old was he today? 81?
81.
That's hard to believe. Well, of course, Layla, written for Patty Boyd, who he married after she divorced her first husband, which was George Harrison. So what a tangle. I think I'll make a movie out of that.
I agree.
I think that's what will happen. But one of our big iconic music star birthdays today until we stop having them. And you hear the other voice you hear there is James Sanders, normally our guest on Tuesday. And I guess you'll be available for tomorrow's segment.
Well, if you'll have me, and we'll see how I end up today.
No, you're doing fine.
Yeah.
You're doing fine.
Yeah.
And, well, we'll find out, because now you're talking to the boss up next, because Daryl Henry is...
I thought you had my wife on the phone.
No, Daryl Henry is the voice of the York Revolution, and he is the... whenever I have a problem here, I just as a matter of fact, Daryl, I know you're on the line listening. You can check streaming for me. Because I think the stream, I tried to check it a little while ago, and I can't tell if the place I go to check it isn't any good, or if we actually are not streaming. So sorry to throw you that. I just thought of that, of the myriad of things that are bouncing around in my brain. Anyway, we are getting excited because Major League Baseball had the opening day last week. And up next, of course, is for the Atlantic League and the Revolution, two-time back-to-back champs. And what does that portend for a new season? Is it possible? Has any team ever had a three-peat? That would be an interesting question, James Sanders,
to
ask Daryl Henry, who is on the line right now.
Good morning, Daryl.
Hey, good morning, James. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. It's great to guest host today. I'm very honored to be on the radio today.
Yeah, sounds like it's going great. I'm sorry to disappoint. Your wife is not on the line. It's just me.
every time I hear my boss is on the line, oh, geez, okay, better straighten up.
So ask him if there's ever been a three-peater. We did too, but has anybody in the...
So 24 and 25, you guys won. I mean, and you were founded in 2006, and you've won 5 championships. And I was looking at the record. I mean, you finished first 7 or 8 times. It's quite an incredible record. What are we looking at for this year?
I would love to say more of the same.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't sit here and necessarily predict, hey, it's a championship year. So many things can happen. And you do need some luck along the way. You need some things to fall your way. But with Rick Forney heading into his 4th year as manager, I mean, I kind of liken it to almost like a college program. I mean, he's built a program here, and I say that because, each year you have to recruit. I mean, that's a huge part of the job is these free agent players. He's trying to convince them to come here. He knows what he's looking for. He's not, just taking anybody. He's not taking guys that are, going to cause an issue with the team chemistry or whatever. There's something specific that he's looking for. Good players, good people, and he's pretty choosy about who he brings in. So, there's less continuity from year to year than there used to be. It's pretty much from year to year you're almost starting over. So that's a little crazy. I think this year we'll probably have 6 or 7 back from last year, which is a little bit more than it had been in previous years, but still less than it used to be for a variety of reasons. But Rick has proven each year, if we're starting from scratch or heck in the middle of a season, I mean, we've had to basically remake the roster on the fly, certainly last year with the number of injuries that there were. So, I mean, the expectation, the standard kind of has been set, and Rebs fans are we're very, very lucky to have the situation that we do here, and the 5 championships all time. That's the most in league history by any current team that's in the league. Somerset had 6, and they became a Yankees affiliate, I guess, 5 years ago now. So, we're living a charmed experience as Rebs fans, and can't wait to see what happens this year.
So, I mean, what do you think it is about the organization? I mean, when I think about that kind of win percentage, I mean, it's you're kind of getting up to like the Yankees have 27 World Championships, right? You have 5 out of your first 20 years in existence. That's astronomical. What is it about the Revolution organization that's allowing you to kind of reset every year? Because as you said, you've got a whole new host of players that come in, and to get them to gel and play like that. What is it about the organization that you think drives that?
Well, I mean, I guess we'll start with the ballpark and the environment and the fans. There's players on other teams around the league that want to play here, and that's a really good. I mean, I know Rick has had to turn some guys away and be like, "Sorry, the roster's full, or at this position, we're set for now." But one of the guys this year, we had him on our Monday Hot Stove show a couple of weeks ago. Joe DeLuca, he's a veteran catcher in this league, and I mean, he couldn't say enough great things about when he was with Southern Maryland or a couple of teams that he split last year with, that in previous years he had wanted to come here and it just never worked out. And a lot of it's the environment and the way that we treat guys and take care of them. And so, I think the stadium's a fun place to play. It's a great place for hitters. I think guys love the kind of small town feel of York, and the ballpark vibe is super positive, and the fan base is really into it. And I've said this forever, that York, we're not going to lead the league in attendance. That's going to be Long Island. They've got the New York population density to draw from, but for our market, we do really well. We do what we're supposed to do from a total attendance standpoint in our market. But if you break it down, I am convinced that we have a bigger percentage, a higher percentage of people that really, really care about how the team performs, wins and losses, than what you'll find almost anywhere else in minor league baseball. I don't know what it is, but in York, they really, really, there's still going to be the family of 4, and this is absolutely a huge part of the fan base. It's my family of 5 that when they come to the game, they don't know or care who wins or loses, but there's a huge part of the fan base that does. Yeah. So it makes my job rewarding on the radio, and I think I think the players definitely feel that too.
So, with the Atlantic League, I in years past, I know new rules or new things are tried and matriculate up to the major league level. Is there anything coming this year with the Atlantic League that we're going to be able to experience here as we watch the games?
Not so much new. I think we've run the gamut on those experimental things recently. I mean, at some point there might be more, but nothing this year. I think at this point I'm looking forward to potentially some of the things that are in MLB now coming to us. I mean, MLB naturally is going to have the technology to do replay challenges before we would, but I think it's something that, in the future, I believe that there is a desire for our league to have it at the highest levels. So nothing new experimentally this year, but some of the things I'm looking forward to, we'll have a new video streaming platform that the league has created and owns It's called Home Team Network. It should be a major improvement over previous years with the quality of live video and multi-camera angles. So those that and it'll be more cost friendly than the previous platform was. You'll be able to watch our games on archive. So, for those that spend the monthly subscription to watch our games, I think that'll be a major improvement. And of course, it has our broadcast on it as well. And then the league is also creating its own stat database this year from scratch. So, that's something I think some fans are interested in that. I'm really interested in it, being a stat guy. But yeah, just some things like that. Nothing that's crazy. I think we've been through that with mixed results in recent years. So just good old baseball, but looking forward to it very much.
No, that's fantastic. We're talking with Darrell Henry, the voice of the Revolution, and of course Gary's boss. So we get to really delve into things that he may think about. Gary, no, I'm just kidding. But so do you have a hot show stove on tonight?
Yeah, we're down to, I'm recording it with Rick today. It's going to be on Wednesday.
Wednesday.
The reason that we moved it from Monday this week, we have the Phillies on at 6:05 tonight. Wednesday they play during the day, so the evening's open, so that made sense. But the other part of it is with, there's various reasons for this, but with player contracts, there's a large number of our players that we can't announce until April 1st. And we've announced 14 so far, and there's probably almost that many still to go.
Oh, geez.
So if we just wait till Wednesday, there's a whole bunch more on April 1st that we can unveil. So it'll be Wednesday this week, and then next week, honestly, I think we're looking at a Tuesday and a Thursday to wrap it up, because the team will get in for spring training next week, and well, we kind of have to let fans know who's on the team at that point. So
it's kind of important for jersey sales, and
yeah, part of the responsibility.
So, Darrell, where can people find your show?
Well, we'll start with the easy one to remember, YorkRevolution.com.
Yep.
We'll post that by the next morning when the write-up of the player signings goes up. There's an easy-to-find link right there. You can also get to it through the station website, 989WOYK.com. That's got links to all of our archives, including this show, which goes up on the WOYK SoundCloud archive every morning. So it's all there, all of our high school games, all of Gary's shows, you name it. Hours and hours and hours.
Hours and hours.
WOYK history right there.
Beautiful. Well, Darrell, great to meet you over the radio, and best of luck. And I'm certain we'll all be listening and hoping for a 2026 banner to go up.
No, thanks, James. Thanks for having me, and have fun today. It's great to have you in there.
Sounds
Yay.
good.
So, going into the break, what's going to happen on the other side? We're going to talk about, the world is just filled with so much stuff. I think it's exasperating people. And there is one thing, however, that is, I think, is life renewing. It's one event that is particular to this specific time of year, and we'll talk about what that is. You even have a picture of it in your head, even if you don't know what I'm talking about right at the moment. When I mention it, you will immediately have a picture of it, and I think you'll feel better.
Oh, boy.
What exactly am I talking about?
Oh, be careful when you talk about my head. There's a theme park running up there.
Oh, watch out. Stick around. It is James Sanders, our guest host here on the Gary Sutton Show. Gary will be back, by the way, tomorrow, FYI, on WOYK. Do not forget, if you have a comment, please text us on the back nine text line, 833-478-4729. You can text during the show. Thank you. is the Gary Sutton Show for a Monday morning. And I don't know, I think it's been particularly busy, James. Busier than usual. Yeah. I mean, with world events, sports events. I wonder about the Tiger Woods thing, which we've spent time on earlier today, in case you're just arriving and checking us out. We also talked about the Duke-UConn game. Yep. We had the opening weekend of baseball. So we talked about all these things, and it's a very hectic time, right? Mm-hmm. So you're looking for peace of mind. You're looking for something that will renew your spirit. And if I were to say that it would be in the form of, at this particular time of year, see if you don't agree with me.
All right.
Cherry blossoms.
The National Park Service said this past Thursday was peak bloom for the famous cherry trees in Washington, D.C., a few days earlier than predicted. Japan's peak bloom has been earlier, too. There are lots of other places, though, to see and celebrate cherry blossoms. Macon, Georgia's annual festival ends this weekend. They call it the pinkest party on earth, with 350,000 trees throughout the city. There are early to mid-April events in Newark, New Jersey, Philadelphia, San Francisco, and Nashville. Later, the flowers usually pop up in mid-May in Traverse City, Michigan, where you can drive by around 2 million cherry trees. The Cherry Blossom Festival in Fort Wayne, Indiana, is May 17th. Chris Foster, Fox News.
So did I deliver?
You know, you kind of did, you kind of didn't. You know, when cherry blossoms come out, that means allergies are coming out.
Is that? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it's a good reminder that I
Sorry, I don't have him, so I have no excuse. Yeah. When was the last movie you saw in a theater? Do you know?
Oh boy.
Now
it's been quite some time.
I go to movies, and one of my problems is I always forget what was the last thing I saw. I'm not exactly sure what I saw. I would have to really think about it, even though I go, I would say fairly regularly, maybe monthly, maybe once a month. But let's check the weekend box office.
Sure.
Project Hail Mary is still cruising at full speed.
If we do nothing, everything on this planet will go extinct, including us.
In its second weekend, the sci-fi hit pulled in a strong $54.5 million, holding steady with no major new competition and cementing its place as the year's biggest movie so far. Not every film had that kind of luck. Warner Brothers' new horror release, They Will Kill You, opened to a soft $5 million.
This building is a temple to Satan.
The R-rated thriller didn't bomb, but it does hint that horror audiences might be hitting saturation. Carmen Roberts, Fox News.
Oh, so there's the answer to my question. The last movie I saw was Project Hail Mary.
Okay.
So, but I was not as impressed, I think, as a lot of younger people are. But I'm not really sure that doesn't really say something about me. And in the time we have remaining, I forgot to mention that this is happening today. I think it's today that Starbucks.
55 years ago in 1971, the first Starbucks opened along the cobblestone streets of Seattle's historic Pike Place Market. On its website, reps for the coffee chain say it was an understated debut with just a 1,000 square foot space that was staffed by a single employee. To celebrate the milestone, earlier this year, the company rolled out its Starbucks 1971 Roast and a 1971 drinkware collection with tumblers, mugs, and cold cups. Decades after its debut, Starbucks now has roughly 40,000 stores globally. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
Are you a Starbucks person?
I like the experience of the Starbucks, and I liked it, historically. Now I don't drink as much coffee, but I think that it's amazing how that company grew and just exploded over the years.
I have a theory about, I went to a business school, and when Ben & Jerry's opened up, I thought, that's perfect. Yeah. It's hard to pay $5 for an ice cream cone, or maybe, a dish of ice cream, especially when you can buy a half gallon for that, and a good one at that. But people, you may not be able to afford a Rolls Royce, but you can afford the best ice cream. And in this particular case, Starbucks, one of the best cups of coffee you're ever going to have.
Well, I don't know. There's a certain contingent of Dunkin' folks out there that they're gonna throw down with you on that one.
No doubt about it. James Sanders is our guest host today. We have one more hour before we take a break, and then Gary will be back tomorrow for what that's worth. And we've got some interesting guests, so stick around for our final hour. We're going to talk about Iran after the break. It is 8 o'clock.
This is York's only local show on York's only local station. This is the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
Listen to your show every day. It's really good. I have you guys on every morning to wake up to.
Gary Sutton, mornings 6 to 9 on Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK.
All the things you're talking about are all things we're talking about. It's Main Street America every day. And you're getting your money's worth.
You're a brilliant mind, tremendous experience. You're great for the community.
The Gary Sutton Show on York's first station, WOYK.
Snap out of it.
Now, broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown York studios inside Wellspan Park, here's Gary Sutton.
Yes, it's one more hour, and we have talked, I got to be honest with you, we've talked a lot of foolishness for quite a while, actually. And I think we're going to get serious now.
All right.
We're going to get serious with James Sanders, our guest host, and we're lucky enough to have Major Joe Decree. We're going to talk with him in just a second. We also have, a little bit later, we'll be back to foolishness with Mark Hendrickson, where he played Major League Baseball and in the NBA. So we'll have a chance to talk about opening weekend and about that big, huge win last night by UConn over Duke and all the exciting action from the, what is now the Final Four. We do have you've got a little bit of time under your belt. Anything to, any expectations that weren't met or a new perspective so far after doing a couple hours?
I think it's just so conversational. And it's easy. Not easy to do the job. It's just an easy conversation is what I'm getting at. And I appreciate that. And that's what makes this show, I think, last so long. And people like to tune in.
Excellent.
It comes across authentic.
I agree. And the only thing that we didn't get to do really much of yet is talk about York and be very specific with York. Maybe Kindness Worldwide. We did a little bit of that.
Yeah.
But and we're not going to do it right now either, because of but we have to look at worldwide events on occasion too. It's what's happening in the news and all that. But before we get to that, we have a little bit of business to transpire.
This hour of the Gary Sutton Show brought to you by Frank's Marble and Granite. They've been a family-owned and operated business here in York County since 1972, located in the Red Lion area. They combine traditional craftsmanship with the latest technology, including the area's first stone CNC machine and digital templating for a perfect fit. Are you looking for that great indoor improvement in your home, whether it's bathroom or kitchen? They operate by appointment only. Give them a call today at 717-244-2685 to set up that appointment. They're at 125 Householder Avenue in Red Lion. You can visit the web and find them at franksgranite.com. The proud sponsors of the Gary Sutton Show this hour on WOYK.
And if that wasn't enough, just remember that we do have our major sponsors.
Our presenting sponsors of the Gary Sutton Show are Kindness Worldwide and Anstein and Sparler, attorneys at law. Kindness Worldwide, where you can find them right now. Do one act of kindness today and change your world. Kindness Worldwide is ready to help you with that today. And then also Anstein and Sparler, attorneys at law, located at 117 East Market Street here in York. They are ready to help you with all of your law needs. 717-846-8811 is their number, open Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 5. We are the proud sponsors here of the Gary Sutton Show with Anstein and Sparler, attorneys at law, and kindnessworldwide.org.
So with James Sanders, now your background is, we always present you as a business and an attorney.
Yep.
Do you have a particular focus?
Yeah, I focus on helping small and private businesses with transactions and being their legal counsel.
Okay, so that's your. It's not defense attorney to like. I don't know if Tiger called you today.
Tiger called me even on Friday. He'd be sitting in jail still.
Is that right? Okay. So much for that. Well,
not in my wheelhouse.
Let me introduce you to Major Joe Decree, retired. He went to Afghanistan and Kosovo, taught at the OCS there in at Quantico.
Yep.
And a lot of experience in the worldwide scene. And here we have reports this morning that Israel and the U.S. continue to strike at at targets inside of Iran. And we also have word that up to 50,000 U.S. troops are headed to that region. What they're going to be doing, we're not exactly sure, but maybe Major Joe Decree has an idea. Would you ask him that, James?
Yeah, absolutely. And is he on the line? Yes. Hello, Major Decree. Nice to meet you.
You too, sir. How are you?
I'm well. So tell us a little bit about your perspective on what's going on in Iran and what the president may or may not be doing.
Well, hard to predict this president because he's looked at things for 4 years and I haven't. Perspective. I think it does require boots on the ground. I hope that there are special forces teams on the ground helping the dissidents. What bothers me about this operation is that we have not heard from the dissidents yet, although we have put out, I think CENTCOM put out a message to say, hey, hunker down until it's a little bit safer for you to come out and, kind of try to take over. I'm paraphrasing badly. We will probably put boots on the ground. I think we need to because of the short-range drone threat from the Iranian shore through the Straits of Hormuz. What they're doing with shipping is there's the short-range drone threat, the sea mine thing, and these are sophisticated sea mines. This isn't your father's, anchored, spiked ball, to the seabed, hitting ships like that. These are passive, really torpedoes that sit on the seabed, and when they're programmed, passive sensor readings, hit a certain profile, it jumps up and shoots straight up into the ship from the bottom of the sea. So wow. Those are we don't have a lot of ways to figure those things out yet. The drone situation, we think we can get a handle on, although the Iranians are very techie people. People keep forgetting that. And so they have a huge cache of, short-range drones that are just coming in. And without controlling that land space, I think, next to the straits, I don't think we're gonna have trouble, maintaining security now without that. The drones, I think, are the primary threat. The fast boat things, they may have a few left, but we'll take care of those. In fact, the A-10s, we brought the A-10s back, which the Air Force keeps saying, we need to get rid of because they don't like them. They're not sexy. And yet, every time we go to war, we need the A-10, which is basically a flying Gatling gun. Yeah. So we've been using those. The region, I think there's going to be a wider regional conflict, and I don't know that. I think it would have happened anyway, but I think this is going to be a catalyst. We have the Iranian-Pakistani border is not really strong. Borders in that part of the world tend to be flexible anyway, right. But that part of Pakistan is called Baluchistan. We look at the map and we see stands and we're like, oh, there's this and that. Well, there's actually a lot more stands on the ground than there are on the map. Because regionally people talk about things like Kurdistan, which is not on the map, right? But it's a cultural collection of people that are fairly homogenous, and they do things in that region, right? Same thing in Baluchistan. It's another one of those kind of things. And they don't particularly like their Pakistani government, and they don't particularly like the Iranians either. And like I said, those lines are flexible, and now they're challengeable, okay? Yep. So on top of all this, you've got ISIS and Taliban, in Afghanistan, and we're not sure what they want to do, but they have an entire Army Corps' worth of MRAPs and machine guns and Mark 19s and things now that we just left. And there's some ammo for those things, too, associated with that, because we didn't blow anything up in place before we ran out of town. So, there's some interesting things going to happen there. On the other hand, we have now Uganda has just come out in favor of Israel and said they would be willing to get into the war. Now, that's interesting. I don't know how old you are, but the last time we heard from Uganda on the international stage was a guy named Idi Amin Dada in the 70s, who supported the Palestinian Liberation Organization to hijack, was it one of those? It might have been the Palestinian Liberation Front or one of the other Palestinian-oriented groups, to hijack a passenger plane, landed in Entebbe airport, and detain all the Jewish passengers, all the Israeli passengers. Okay, which led to one of the great special ops missions in history, the raid on the Entebbe airport on the Sabbath by Israeli the IDF. So now Uganda is, and I wonder if that's part of why they want to do this, because it's odd for Uganda to play an international center. They're like, we're going to stay out of this, but if Iran presses it, we're going to come in on the side of Israel, which is like, wow, Uganda in the middle of Africa, okay?
Yeah.
You've also now got China, who's feeling the pinch on the gas thing and probably thought they had an automatic pass to the Straits of Hormuz, just got turned around by, threats. And the North Koreans, saying they want to help the Iranians with the missile. I think they've helped them with the missile program. I don't know if they're helping them actively with missiles now. But this is there's a lot of, like all conflicts, once it builds, everybody has a staked interest, starts to try to influence it. So this could get interesting fast.
And we're talking with Major Joe Ducree today about the Iranian conflict. And the one country that I noticed you did not mention was Russia. And I read some articles over the weekend that they may have assisted the Iranians with some intelligence and or satellite photos. What's your view on Russia's involvement in this?
I bet they've assisted them. I mean, like every time we show up somewhere, they assist them with, help. I mean, they had, I don't know if they had an alliance. They had some kind of work together treaty, however they phrased that, with Iran for, decades. Basically the Iran, Russia, Chinese triangle has always been very anti-U.S. and every one of them, their stated, foreign policy objectives are, mess up the United States. The Chinese are trying to destroy American economic dominance. The Russians have just been trying to destroy the United States since, Khrushchev? And the Iranians have never liked us. We're the great Satan, to the Iranian people. The Iranians, it's kind of funny when people say, well, they weren't an immediate threat. It's like, you review the history. Now, was the threat large? Was the threat to U.S. soil?
Yeah.
Probably not yet. Were they close to a nuclear weapon? Oh, I think they probably were. Now, I don't have any better information than the news that the rest of you have. I've been retired for as long as I've served now, so I don't, my clearances have lapsed a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I imagine, yes, they have. Like I said, this is a very science-savvy people. And, I bet they were fairly close. And here's the other thing. Even if you don't have a nuclear fissionable weapon, to be able to put enriched uranium in any bomb creates a nuclear hazard.
Yep.
So even if it's like, well, yeah, they can't do the Hiroshima bomb. Well, okay, what if they just drop, it's called a dirty bomb in outside in New York Harbor, not even on the landmass. The wind will blow it to the east. Winds go west to east in the northern hemisphere, right? So you just drop it in New York Harbor. How many years is it before we can use that? So exactly. There are some viable threats that people are like, well, they weren't a real threat. They were involved in the coal thing, the USS Cole thing. They've been involved in most of the, they actually took over a U.S. Navy ship at one point, which we did retaliate for. There's been a lot with the Iranians, and they clog up the Straits of Hormuz at regular intervals, knowing and hoping, I think, to draw us into an open conflict. Well, okay, you got your wish. Iran won the coin toss; they elected to receive. So there you go. Yeah. But I think the wider region, at least parts of it, has a chance to destabilize a little bit. I think the folks in Baluchistan may finally see an opportunity here. I don't know what's the Taliban want to do. They want to go back to, they don't like Pakistan either so
right.
much. They came from there, but that part of Pakistan, we used to call the Wild Wild West. It was largely unregulated, even by the Pakistanis. They were smart enough to stay out of it. So, and then Pakistan and the United States have had a weird relationship since the Russians moved into Afghanistan in 79 or 80.
Right.
So it's always been a bit weird. We kind of use them to fight the proxy war against the Russians in Afghanistan, which, in hindsight seemed like strange bedfellows and maybe bad choices. It put we relied on Pakistan for our supply route to get stuff into Afghanistan because it came in the ports down there by south of Karachi, and at the same time the Pakistanis were dealing with the Taliban.
Yeah.
So the Pakistanis cheered loud, on 9/11. They don't like us much. And yet, at the same time, we kind of need each other. It's an odd, bad situation.
But do you see this as a quagmire, as certain in the political spectrum here in the U.S. want to draw parallels to Iraq, or is this something where you're going to see the strange bedfellows come together and say, you know what, we need to open that strait again for access to the oil?
Determined.
Yeah.
At root here is one of the principal oil routes in the world. So I think what you'll see is a proliferation of overland delivery, which of course will drive the environmentalists here bananas.
Yeah.
You'll see several countries. I would hope, and again, economics is not my forte, but I would hope you would see, especially in the United States, a greater emphasis on self-reliance for oil.
Yeah.
And honestly, wouldn't be surprised if there's a long-term U.S. presence in the Straits of Hormuz like there used to be in the Sinai.
That's great. Well, Major, appreciate your insights as always. I enjoy listening every week, and we'll talk to you. Or Gary will talk to you next week.
All right, James. Take care.
Thanks.
Enjoy. Yes, always very interesting to listen to him. It is. I think the major point was that the conflict could get out of hand, but we don't really know a whole lot. We just know about explosions at this point. We don't know about where those soldiers are going and what's going to happen.
Yeah, and this is, again, I look at it from the American perspective, and you listen to all types of media sources, and everybody wants Donald Trump to sit there and tell them exactly what we're going to do,
right.
and that is, he is never going to do that.
Right. Well, we didn't know that under other administrations when they're going in, so that's understandable. But that said, well, we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. I mean, you don't telegraph your plans when you're going to go in and execute. That's.
But
silly.
I will say though that the other administrations would at least try to lay the groundwork for some support and for at least even an illusion of what is being done. And this is it's confusing. If you follow it day to day, it's very confusing to know what exactly is happening. So but 8:22, and we are going to take a break. A pretty big news event happened in the U.S. on this date, and we'll delve into that a little bit and also talk with Carmine about Frank's. This sounds confusing. We will explain. Stand by. All these names. What's going on? It's WOYK, the Gary Sutton Show. Good morning.
videotape of an incident that took place less than 15 minutes ago at the Washington Hilton Hotel when shots were fired at President Reagan. Here you see the president coming out now. You just have to watch. I don't know whether we can hear this or not. There it is. Shots. God. These are the agents immediately guided.
There you go. That was ABC's Frank Reynolds talking about breaking news. It was on this date 45 years ago, 1981. President Ronald Reagan shot and seriously injured by John Hinckley as he left a Washington, D.C. hotel. White House Press Secretary James Brady and 2 others were also wounded. You must have been just a young whippersnapper at the time.
I was, I was 7 years old.
So did you have a reaction? That's about how old I was when Kennedy was shot. So what was your, did you have a reaction? Did you even know?
It's all such a blur back then. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
Well, now that happened on this date. So I was in radio at the time, and it was kind of a shock. But, you know, there are different points you mentioned earlier about human nature. I mean, there's always going to be somebody that's, you know, whether it was Ford and Squeaky Fromme, if it was, you had Larry Flint get shot by a guy. There's these kinds of things. Is there a way around it? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. And let me correct the record here. So that I was 5 years old, not 7. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. It's all a blur back then. All a blur.
Well, one thing I do know that you know is that you know of Carmine Pantano.
I do.
And head of Frank's Marble and Granite. And here's a chance to talk to your friend about, well, marble and granite. It's the kind of thing that people are putting in their homes, and it's a family business as well.
Hello, Carmine. Good to talk with you.
Yes, good to talk with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you are a critical person for this community for a topic that's near and dear to my heart, aside from what your business is providing, and that's the Buy Local Coalition and the small business community. You know, I can't thank you enough for all the work you've done over the years, because it's critical to the strength of our local community. But you know, tell us a little bit about what Frank's is up to these days, and maybe we can swerve into you know, what Buy Local's doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, here at Frank's, we're making countertops. So anybody that's looking for countertops for their kitchen, their bathroom, their laundry room, their man cave, their makeup table, their walk-in closet, we can make the countertops. You know, that's and we're doing it. You know, right now it's a busy season, so as it gets warm with the spring, everybody kind of, especially this winter, the winter was so cold, kind of everybody stayed inside. And we noticed as it's getting warmer, everybody is ready to remodel. So it's a good timing.
Yeah, and I'm not just a fan. I'm a customer as well. We have beautiful Frank's marble countertops sitting in our kitchen at our house, and I can remember going down and you know, thinking, it's just marble. What are we going to look at? And the way that you described it, and you walked through, and you were talking about the various countertops and the various veins that were coming through and the history of it. You know, it's absolutely fascinating. And if you haven't had a chance to go down to the shop, it's an experience. It certainly changed my perspective on what you guys are doing.
Yeah, especially if it's somebody's first time. It's you know, we always tell people, and that's why we do it by appointment only, just because of that reason. It can be overwhelming, so we try to have people come in with nice and calm. You don't have to worry about other people in your way, and you know, trying to get you out of the way. That's why we do everything by appointment. So it's a dedicated time slot with the homeowner, because it can be overwhelming. And we tell people, you don't have to make your decision on your first trip. It can take you 3, 4, 5 trips till you actually make your final decision, just because it's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of different colors, and some people pick it in 10 minutes. You know, everybody's different.
Yeah, and I mean, you've been doing this for a number of years now. I mean, do you go on site to go see, you know, where the marble's coming from? I mean, you know, how does somebody become a very knowledgeable in this profession?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I grew up in the business. My dad started the business back in 1972, and I just grew up in it. So for me, it's second nature. And then obviously with my parents coming from Italy, I was able to travel to Italy multiple times to go to the quarries, source the material, and do a lot of training in Italy with marble, granite, and then a lot of the supplies that we use. Was able to train in Italy for all that stuff.
No, it's absolutely a fantastic visit to go down and visit your shop and learn more about. And I was floored at the way that you can envision what the colors are of whatever project is and how it's going to pop. But Carmine, great to talk to you, my friend. And I'm getting the hook here from Mark, I'm being told we got to move on. I'm a rookie at this, but
we'll ask him for contact info.
Contact information, Carmine, for Frank's.
What's that?
We need your contact information.
Oh, yeah. Go to franksgranite.com.
franksgranite.com.
Simple enough. Thanks a lot, Frank. And thanks. Well, he's not.
He's not Frank. He's Carmine.
Frank's legacy is the business itself.
Yep.
And Carmine, of course, carrying on that tradition.
100%.
And James is carrying on the tradition here, even though he's not related to Gary Sutton, at least that I know. But we are going to talk about sports. Mark Hendrickson, always on a Monday afternoon, always lots to talk about. And since he's a guy who played in the Major League Baseball and the NBA and, obviously college basketball as well. No doubt between Tiger. There's so much to talk about, and we'll do it right after news, which is next on WOYK. It is 8:33. It is the Gary Sutton Show for a Monday morning with guest host James Sanders. And this person, unlike many of the other bumpers we have played this morning, is not having a birthday today. And you asked me, who is this guy? It's John Parr. See, you don't know the name John Parr, right? But you know this song, right?
Oh, I think it was the intro to about 50% of the 80s movies.
Yes, St. Elmo's Fire is what it's famously from, and it was a big hit.
Yeah.
But he was kind of like a one-hit wonder. He had a follow-up that did sort of okay, but he's really known for that song.
Yeah.
So, but it's not his birthday today.
No.
It just happened to be another song from 1985. Yeah, we're still playing. We are not done with 1985. Also, if you're out there and you've heard the different conversations we've had, you're always invited on the back nine text line at 833-478-4729. You can text us throughout the show, and we check. As a matter of fact, let's check it right now. Make sure that we had several earlier this morning, and I haven't seen one recently. And we are still open for business again at 833-478-4729. So much of this weekend's events were wrapped around sports, and James Sanders, lucky enough to talk to another person that, would you call him a friend? What would you say?
Yeah, Mark and I know each other, and I've always enjoyed our conversations. Hi, Mark. How are you, sir?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm well. So a little bit going on in your professional experience here with a little basketball this weekend, a little baseball.
Yeah, I mean it's a busy time of year. I mean, I think actually opening day is getting pushed. It used to be right after the actual NCAA tournament was completed.
Yep.
I think they're trying to get some of these games in a little bit earlier so they don't run late in the fall with postseason.
Yeah, and with the World Baseball or World Tournament, it kind of wets everybody's whistle prior to the opening day too. So I got to get. Did the hair on your arm stand on end when you were watching the UConn game yesterday?
I saw the highlights. I mean, it's kind of one of those things you feel for Duke, but it's what we sign up for as athletes who play in this tournament. You're going to get heartbreak, but you're going to get some thrilling games and a magical moment for UConn for sure.
Yeah. And did you, in your experience, was there ever a time where you had the game-winning shot?
Yes. I was a sophomore at Washington State, and we were playing Arizona State. They hit a three to tie it up, and then we just got the ball kind of like that, a chaotic play, and our guard found me, and I hit it, and it was pretty magical moment for sure. No,
that's awesome, and to remember that moment. So what were some of the biggest surprises? Moving over to baseball this weekend. You obviously played that sport and played it at a real high level as well. What were some of the surprises you saw?
I think it's just this robotic challenge is going to be something that's probably here to stay. I know Gary and I have talked about it numerous times. I hope it doesn't get to a point where you start to replace, umpires, because referees, officials, whatever sport it is, they're really good. And if you've ever had to fill in and ref, even if it's in a practice or something, it's hard to do. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes as a fan, we take for granted how hard it is to do. And those guys are really good. I mean, obviously you want to get a call right, and they're not going to be perfect. But you know what? No player's going to be perfect either. So I think that was a big takeaway to see some of those moments. But opening day is always special. I know Baltimore's a great atmosphere for opening day. And then, after the weekend, let the grind begin, because it's a long season with lots of games.
Yeah, 162 games in the baseball season. I mean, it's unbelievable, and to think that we're only 2-3 games in for many of the teams. So, who do you think your front runners are going to be for the Major League Baseball season?
The one thing I've always said about pro sports, for the most part, you're not going to get flukes. The best teams are usually going to be there at the end of the season, because teams that are so can have some hot streaks, but to play well, over 6 months, usually the better teams are going to be there. So I think the teams that were there last year have a pretty good shot. I mean, obviously the Orioles didn't play very well last year, and they've got a young group. Hopefully they can make some adjustments and be there at the end, because their division is very competitive with Toronto and New York. I'm from the Seattle area, so I'm obviously supporting Seattle's team and obviously what the football team just did. I know the Mariners went through some heartbreak with a Game 7 loss, but, I expect to see them there. Philadelphia is always good, and obviously the juggernaut of the LA Dodgers will probably be there come October as well.
And I assume that the Mets will be held to somewhat of a higher standard, especially with Stephen Cohen as the ownership there.
Yeah, I mean, they played well last year, and I don't expect them to fall off much this year. But, a lot can happen.
Yeah.
A lot of unexpected stuff happens in sports, so sometimes you get that opportunity to take advantage of it.
Yeah, 100%. So here's the big question, and Mark, I think, has texted me about 4 times.
It's not that many.
Why didn't the Duke guy hold the ball?
Instinct. I mean, that was a pass. Looking back, defensive players usually jump.
Yeah.
We stress a lot of times, if you're going to make a pass, make it a bounce pass, because most people's tendency is to just jump. In that moment, emotions happening, easy to second guess. I think this one of those plays that unfortunately, worked out well for one team, not so well for the other team. And it's heartbreak. That's something that the Duke players will never get over. And unfortunately, you can't change it. It is what it is. And, if you want to chase that title, sometimes you have to deal with heartbreak. And it's kind of what you sign up for when you play sports. It's like that 4-foot putt at the country club that you're knocking in. And then all of a sudden, when it matters, you lip out and you're just like, oh.
Well, I have to imagine if you're a Kentucky fan, you're pretty happy right now, because they were the recipient of the shot how many years ago with Leitner coming from Duke, right? So, I guess it kind of comes full circle on this.
It is. I mean, you wouldn't change it because you want that opportunity,
100%.
but the risk that comes with it. Sometimes, it's one of those. I just give UConn credit.
Yeah, 100%. So, do you think this? Where does this rank in the annals of kind of blunders? Is this Weber-esque, or is it is it more like the shot?
Yeah, it's probably more like the shot. I saw the highlights, so I don't know the situation as far as were they in the bonus? And when you said should he have just held on to it, would it have been free throws? That's where you have to have some. Sports is just not physical. You got to understand situations, and sometimes, it's very hard to think of that in the moment. Yeah. But that can be a difference maker if you just have an idea of really what's going on and what the situation calls for. But these are 18 to 22-year-old kids. Yeah. They're competing their butt off. You can't fault them for just playing as hard as they did, and it's just one of those situations that just unfortunately happened.
Yeah, no. I mean, it makes for great drama. And Mark, you got to let this go. I mean, he says the coach should have said, "Hold the damn ball." I mean, it's not. Anyway, we're getting off basketball right now. We had another major sports story happen on Friday, and obviously with Tiger crashing his car. Interested on your thoughts or perspectives on the Tiger incident.
It's a microscope world that we live in, and unfortunately, when you're in the spotlight, it doesn't matter if it's an athlete or somebody, a public figure. Mm-hmm. You're almost held to a higher standard. And the unfortunate thing is we put them on pedestals and don't realize we put them on pedestals for what they do and what they make us feel in the profession that they're in. Unfortunately, we think they have to be that way in their everyday life, and that's not always the case. And so, for him, it's unfortunate. I think the biggest thing is just really trying to, I'm a Christian man. I just pray for him. If it's a situation that he needs some help, get some help. But I also know not to judge whatever I read, because you know what? Today's media is going to, they're going to create a narrative however they want to create it. So only he knows what's really going on, and you just hope that for his sake, it gets figured out, because I appreciate him as a golfer, but a lot of us don't know him as a human being. And unfortunately, he's had some incidents where, it's public. And we all have, in a sense, skeletons in our closet, mistakes that we make. And sometimes as an athlete, it gets publicized a lot more than the average person. So in that sense, it's unfortunate, but, luckily nobody got hurt. And, hopefully he can learn from this and move on.
Yeah, and we're talking with Mark Hendrickson, a locally based, retired professional baseball and basketball player, and also a real estate aficionado as well. So, Mark, the other story that's under the radar here, and you brought it up, is Gary Woodland. And I don't know if you know who Gary Woodland is, but he won the PGA tournament over the weekend. Interested if you have any thoughts on that with his recovery from literally getting a brain tumor removed. I mean.
Yeah, it was pretty emotional to watch the highlight. I mean, sometimes I don't, sit down and watch a whole sporting event, and obviously golf is a long event to sit down and watch. But the emotion that's there, it's just it had to affect you if you're a fan, and obviously if you're a golfer, you know how hard it is to watch and actually win a golf tournament, and then for him to come back from something that probably affected whether or not he thought, he would even have quality of life or even have life, and let alone get back to playing golf. I can only imagine that journey, but for him and his wife, and especially that moment there, you could see it on his face. It was pretty emotional.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Mark, my friend, thank you for indulging me. Gary will be back, and you'll have a more normal conversation. But
no, you did great.
All my best to you and the whole Hendrickson family.
All right, thanks, James. Have a good week.
You too.
Oh my Lord!
Did we get the whole wheel of things talking about there? I mean,
here's the thing. We have heard Gary. I've talked to him over the years, asked him a million questions, probably if you total them up over that time frame, about the things that he's teaching the kids, in those moments.
Right.
If I forget, what is the thing that he says about character builds championships, that kind of thing. So they talk and they train and they practice, blah, blah, blah. 10 seconds left. I'm turning to my kids and hold the ball. Just hold the ball.
Yeah.
Inbound it, hold it, it's over. And, I get that the kids want to try. I can't believe he told them, pass it around. I can't believe it. So anyway. All right, I'm done.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. It's like I'm watching lacrosse games for my kid this weekend, and they're up by a big score, and you tell the kids to pass it around, and what do they want to do? They want to shoot. It's just it's instinct takes over time.
All right, so here's a question. Let's talk about health.
Yeah.
Does extra sleep really help you? And if it does, how much? We're going to learn about that next as we close out the Monday morning edition of the Gary Sutton Show with guest host James Sanders. It's 10 away from 9. the Gary Sutton Show, and we are wrapping it up for a Monday morning. You know, when you think, James, you know, you were kind of put in a tough spot there because we had all these, you know, world events. We had Tiger. I mean, the UConn game. I mean, it's crazy how much was going on, and you handled it with plum.
Either that or I have a lot of people snowed.
Is that what it is? No. I think you did. And you asked some really good questions, so I appreciate that as well. Let's talk about. Oh, go ahead.
Good. I have a good person guiding the show this morning.
Is that right?
100%.
Extra sleep. We all have heard, you know, a lack of sleep is not good for you. So does is that good for you? Extra sleep? Let's find out.
All right.
It may not take big lifestyle changes to improve heart health. A study in the European Journal of Preventive Cardiology found that adding about 11 minutes of sleep each night, a few minutes of brisk walking, and an extra serving of vegetables each day was linked to about a 10% lower risk of heart attack, stroke, or other cardiovascular problems. Researchers analyzed data from more than 53,000 adults in the United Kingdom and found the biggest benefit came when several small healthy changes were combined. Gianna Gelosi, Fox News.
But it sounds like a lot to change, though.
Sorry, I was asleep.
Getting your extra sleep. I mean, you know, you're going to eat healthier. Yeah. You're going to exercise, and you're going to sleep a little bit more. Yeah, well, I don't know.
You know, it's kind of funny. The older I get now, you know, I do value sleep, but I find
is it overrated?
I think it is to a degree. It's more of what I eat right before I go to sleep. That dictates how good my sleep is going to be that night. So
all right.
Yeah.
Well, we have one piece of business that we have to take care of before I forget.
Coming up at 4 p.m. this afternoon, Thomasville Country Auction is having the 5th sale of a large collectible estate sale. Baskets, dolls, pictures, pig bank, jewelry box, new spotlights, just to name a few. Go to ThomasvilleCountryAuction.com right now and hit auction dates, and they will have all the sales and all the items that are on there this afternoon in this sale that's been going on. You know, Jack and Cheryl Hooks are ready to help make your sale a reality right now. And all you need to do is give them a call at 717-764-5403. Have them come out to your home. Take a look at all the items you have for bid. Answer all the questions that you have, and they are ready to help you today. Thomasville Country Auction. They have a sale today at 4 p.m. Tell them Gary Sutton proudly sent you. It's Route 30 West at the railroad tracks in Thomasville.
And let me ask you this. Now, you're a solicitor.
Yep.
Have you ever felt the need to maybe no, that's probably not the question I want to ask. Well, I mean, it's a stupid question, actually, when you think about it. But here's a story about I work part-time on occasion at Hershey in Chocolate World. My favorite, matter of fact, just to show you, my favorite candy is what? What does that say?
Oh, you're going to go to the Kit Kat story.
The Kit Kat story is correct.
Yes.
So check this story out. It's kind of interesting.
Kit Kat, which of course is owned by Nestle, tells Fox News that the truck transporting more than 413,000 units of its new chocolate range went missing after leaving a factory in central Italy last week, where they were to be distributed throughout Europe before arriving in Poland. Well, Kit Kat says they're working closely with local authorities and believe the missing items could enter unofficial sales channels, and if that happens, all products can be traced using their unique batch codes. If a customer or retailer finds a match, they'll be given instructions on how to alert the company.
So that's a kind of a, I don't know, though, if I'm going to get a cheap Kit Kat.
I hear you, but it's you better be careful talking about Kit Kat and Nestle if you want to keep your job at Hershey. By the way,
I agree. I don't know what that means. I think
it's like ordering a Snickers bar when you're up playing Hershey Country Club.
Well, you know what I think it is? I think it's just some licensing involved.
Yeah,
because it actually was an English company originally, so I don't know what it is now. And one more quickie story, because I think, you know what, we're not going to do the quickie story. You know why? Because we have one more thing to do.
This hour of the Gary Sutton Show brought to you by Frank's Marble and Granite. They've been a family-owned and operated business here in York County since 1972, located in the Red Lion area. They combine traditional craftsmanship with the latest technology, including the area's first stone CNC machine and digital templating for a perfect fit. Are you looking for that great indoor improvement in your home, whether it's bathroom or kitchen? They operate by appointment only. Give them a call today at 717-244-2685 to set up that appointment. They're at 125 Householder Avenue in Red Lion. You can visit the web and find them at franksgranite.com. The proud sponsors of the Gary Sutton Show this hour on WOYK.
Mm-hmm. And today, International Folding Laundry Day, Pencil Day, because it's the day it was patented in the U.S. Philadelphia guy, by the way.
Yep.
National Doctors Day, National I'm in Control Day, Take a Walk in the Park Day, Virtual Vacation Day, and the food holiday. I think it's a little underappreciated, but Turkey Neck Soup Day, which is not on James's menu. Thank you so much, James, for being a guest host. You did a good job, and I really appreciate that. I know Gary does too. Gary will be back tomorrow, and we hope that you will all join us at that time. Right now, though, let's get news at the top of the hour. It is 9 o'clock.